Hey everyone, it's your favorite half Filipina, and today I am going to be doing another video. So in my last video, I actually challenged myself to make the Filipino dish chicken adobo, and I actually really enjoyed that. If you guys want to see that as a series where I cook different Filipino foods, comment down below and also go check out that video. But in today's video, I am going to be talking about the do's and don'ts when it comes to Philippines and also the culture. As a half Filipino myself, I experienced many different things and learned many different things after going to the Philippines and being around my Filipino relatives. I also will be including some stories for you guys as well. When I went back in July, I have some funny stories to tell you. So the first thing to know about us Filipinos is that we have really big families and we are super family oriented. Now, I know that for some Filipinos it's not like that, but for most Filipinos and in the culture of Filipinos, having really big families is like a main trait. In some cases, even if you are not part of the family bloodline, you might just be a really close friend and you would be considered as family. For me, really discovering how much family I truly had in the Philippines was a big event, especially because I grew up in Canada and almost all my life I had nobody to, go and talk to about culture and experience the different foods. So for me, my Filipino side has really taught me about the big family orientation. Having the big family is such a heartwarming thing because you know that everybody is there for you, and in the families a lot of people try to support each other and we always try to strive for success as a team. Another thing that you need to know about Filipinos, or if you're in general going into a Filipino home, is to remove your shoes. Removing your shoes before entering the home, or when you enter the home and you're in the foyer of the house, you should remove your shoes. And this is really a cleanliness issue, but it's also a respectful thing to do. So before you enter the home, you are expected to take off your shoes. And for my father, who is Filipino, he is very adamant about taking off your shoes before you step onto the flooring, and also wearing your chanelas, which are slippers. For most Filipinos, we like to be clean and cleanly, so you don't really know what you stepped on outside with your shoes, so it's respectful not to bring them inside the house and trail dirt. Unless you're told otherwise that it's okay to wear shoes inside the house, then that's alright. But in general, us Filipinos, we like to keep our outdoor shoes out of the house. I believe I've mentioned this one a few YouTube videos back, but the Filipino culture is really surrounded by this value of respect, respecting your elders, respecting people around you by calling them ate, kuya, tatay, nanay. There are also actions in the Filipino culture where you would show respect to your elders. For example, to do the mano po. Usually the mano po happens when you have an elderly person and they will stick their hand out to you as a greeting, and then you will just take their hand and put it on your forehead. And I can't really demonstrate it on myself because I feel like it would be so strange, but you do this. The first time that I ever did the mano po was actually at a family orientation with a bunch of my aunties, and I was really shocked because I was I've never done the mano po ever before with anybody. So in that situation, when one of my aunties, she's actually my lola, but she told me to call her auntie because she doesn't want to be called old. And by the way, lola means grandma. But anyways, when she stuck her hand out, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm trying to remember what to do. The only times I've ever witnessed mano po in action would be on the internet. So all of my videos that I've been watching really helped me learn, okay, this is what I have to do in order to show respect in the Filipino culture. So the internet really helped me learn more about my culture, but also now after visiting the Philippines, I've really grasped the value of learning to respect your elders. Also, for respect, if you're talking to someone older than you, you will use the word po, and this is a really big thing in the Philippines. If you are in the Philippines and you're walking around, you will hear the word po. And po is general respect for elders or other people. You might not really know their age, but for me, anytime I'm talking to someone, I like to use the word po now. And what's actually so funny is that one time I was talking to one of my friends and I said, "Hey, how are you doing, po?" And she was like, "Huh? What did you just say to me?" And I had to tell her, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." After coming back from the Philippines, I got so used to using the word po, so I don't know how to erase it sometimes and remember, you're not speaking to a Filipino or your auntie or your kuya, it's okay. The next thing would be, don't get offended when Filipinos look at you. No, a lot of Filipinos just look at people in terms of admiration, but don't get startled, don't get offended when Filipinos look at you. They're admiring you, and they're also curious to see you because you're probably a foreigner from a different country, but that's also just a really cute trait of Filipinos in my own opinion, because it's oh, they're admiring me? That's really cute. A little story for you guys about when I was in the Philippines, and this relates to the foreigner part. I was in the Philippines and one of my aunts brought one of my cousins, and she is 7 years old, I believe. But anyways, we went out a few times together, and this little girl, my cousin, who is 7 years old, was absolutely terrified to say anything to me. She would not talk to me at all, and my dad and my aunt were asking the little girl, why aren't you talking to your ates? Ate Julia, which is me, and Ate Vicky, which is my younger sister. And the girl was just shaking her head, but then she started getting comfortable, and my dad eventually asked her, "Do you want to talk to Ate Julia?" She goes. "Do you want to talk to Ate Vicky?" She goes. "Do you want to talk to Auntie Lisa?" And after that, I was like, why does she want to talk to my sister and not me? I love to be the favorite cousin, but in this case, she was scared of me and my mom. And then we asked her, why don't you want to talk to Ate Julia and Auntie Lisa? Is it because they look like foreigners? And believe it or not, my cousin nods, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I know she's only 7, but I don't want to be scary at all. And eventually she warms up to my sister, and she's speaking full-on Tagalog to my sister. Both me and my sister are half Filipino, but for some reason, this little girl believes that I'm a scary foreigner. And at this point, I was just on the other side of the table watching them, and I was just like, I'm all by myself. The next thing would be to not take everything too literally. With Filipinos, we like to joke a lot, and even though sometimes something we might say can appear rude or disrespectful, it's definitely not to be in that way. For Filipinos, they're really all about happiness, laughter, and even if it's something mocking you or mocking the way you act or your accent, it's really just for humor. I know for my mom, it was a little bit of a culture shock. In the Western world, sometimes when you make a joke, people can get easily offended by it. But for Filipinos, and if you're around a Filipino and they make a joke, do not take it all into your heart. It's not supposed to be taken that way, and it's really just for laughs. For my mom, when we went to the Philippines, she is a foreigner, but it was so funny because we were going to Tagaytay and she would say Tagaytay, and that was just so funny. She was getting picked on, she would say Tagaytay, and it But at the end of the day, it really brings humor and happiness and smiles into the room or into the conversation. And something to know is that when Filipinos laugh, there's not supposed to be any meanness inside. The next thing that you need to know about Filipinos is that if you were offered food or a plate of food or a dessert to take home, take it and eat it. Because oftentimes, in my family at least, we cook meals for people we know who are coming over. We cook and purchase things out of gratitude, love, and hospitality. It's a really big value for Filipinos. I know that for me, when I was down in California last year with my aunties, they would make me eat, and eat. Because I know that saying no to food that was prepared for you and also out of their own time and their own love, you have to eat it. Saying no is disrespectful. And I know that in other cultures, that value of saying no to food that was prepared for you also applies. But for Filipinos, definitely do not say no to food or something that they bought for you or prepared for you. Now, just a disclaimer, these things don't apply to every single Filipino household. They don't apply to every single Filipino you meet. But majority of the Filipinos that I've met, and even my family as a Filipina, do most of these things. And honestly, I've said this so many times before, it doesn't matter what happens in a Filipino's life, they always find ways to persevere and to continue on even when things do get hard for them. And honestly, that's something big for me, because I've learned to face my own challenges and my own obstacles in my life with optimism. So yeah, thank you, Filipinos. Let me know what else I missed in the comment section, and also if you have any other content ideas that you'd like to see on my channel, comment them down below. And don't forget to follow my other socials. I had TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. They're all in the description below, so go follow them. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and follow me along with my journey in life. So yeah, I hope everyone watching has a fantastic day, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!